This is your host, Laura Winters, the heart-led pathfinder, intuitive energy healer, speech language pathologist, and owner of Your Light Holistic Therapy and Wellness, LLC. Welcome to Miracle in Time, a mini-series podcast that brings you the stories of beautiful humans exploring the synchronicities, blessings, and miracles within our perception of time. It illustrates that events are not just happening to us, but for us. Life isn't always rainbows and butterflies, but it is a miracle in time. As a disclaimer, this podcast contains general information about various topics and medical conditions and is for educational purposes and inspiration only. Your Light Holistic Therapy and Wellness, LLC is not responsible or liable for the accuracy of information contained in this podcast. The information contained in this episode is the personal views of the host and guests, respectively. This podcast is not meant to replace the advice of your healthcare provider and is not intended to prescribe, prevent, treat, or diagnose disease. You assume all risks when you continue this episode. All right, so we have Lynn back here after the tongue tie release, which I am super excited to hear her story because when we showed up that day, you were the first person there ready to go.
I was, yes. I wanted to make sure I was there since I was coordinating with Dr. Greg to make sure I was there and got everybody where they needed to be. Not necessarily realizing that that meant that I just get to go first.
Well, I think you were excited to go first because you were so nervous about this whole thing. And so I think that was there as well.
Yes, I did initially request to go first, and there was somebody else, and that was okay. I just didn't want to sit and watch, I think, and then chicken out after I saw it, if that would have happened, which I don't think now that would have, but, you think all kinds of things in your head before it happens.
For sure. So, tell me like the morning of what was going through your mind? What did you do? How was there any like last minute preparation that you did?
I didn't. I mean, we didn't have quite as long of a drive as you, but we had an hour plus drive, and my husband did go with me, so that was great. I did take a Valium that morning. I had one left over from an MRI, and so I had asked the doctor what he thought about that, and so I did do that, which is why my husband then drove. But other than that, I mean, we just kind of got up. I didn't eat anything because my stomach, was all like crazy and nervous. But other than that, tried not to think about it really on the drive.
What I remember is I did not actually watch your release because the other lady, she didn't want to see it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to see the other ones. How about I just hang out with her for a little bit? So I didn't actually see the beginning or didn't see your procedure at all. But the first thing that he did was go through the history form and also took blood pressure.
Right. Yeah.
So, and then did you get the gas?
No.
Okay. So from like what I know with mine is that he went in and numbed everything.
Yes.
And
I think you put some like topical numbing on first, right? And then some shots.
Yes. Numbed everything up. Oh, and we also took pictures, of posture, the tongue tie itself, the bite, all of that stuff. So that was good, like pre-procedure stuff.
Right.
And then, okay, so tell me what your experience was laying in the chair and having this done.
So my heart was racing. And I'm just, you watch people's faces that are watching you, which I mean is definitely not normal, I guess, because if we wouldn't have done it in the way that we did it, we probably wouldn't have had those extra people watching. But just watching the faces and then him talking and then them talking during it, it was very, I think, surreal. Like, and then like you don't really feel anything, right? And then you can feel like some pressure, and he's like, see, I'm putting my finger in here to open it up, and I'm like, he's putting his finger in, it was just, and not, I guess, not seeing it prior and then being the first one and just hearing what he was doing was interesting too. Then to see it afterwards done on somebody else, then it's like, oh, that's what he was doing, and mine, I guess, was maybe one of the simpler ones, or the less invasive or whatever. So it opened very easily and wide, I guess, and just from the pictures that they took during that time, it was just amazing.
Yeah, I mean it was truly fascinating to witness. And this idea that I had of like a laser, like you get this idea of like a laser beam coming down, but it's actually there's like looks like a little pen almost or something,
Right.
and it's just a tiny little thing, and he goes in there and just kind of, I don't know, digs a little bit more and a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a very like tedious, right? Process. Not just
Yeah.
he just doing it just is just like done. Like it's layer by layer and little piece by little piece, I think, to make sure he's not getting anything that he's not supposed to. But getting it all. So yeah, I didn't realize that either, like how much time it would take to get that far.
Yeah, exactly. And it was interesting to see like as it would go, like a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, and eventually it was just like boom. And you just kind of knew like, okay, this is, yep, you got it,
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then so once he had it released, then he also put in a couple stitches.
Yeah, I think I probably had three or four um as they like came out throughout the next couple weeks, I want to say.
Yeah, I think I was about 4 or so as well.
Yeah.
And then okay, so we get done and you go home. What kind of things did you do in the healing process? What did your pain level get to? Like, what are some of the things that you experienced, I guess, right away or in the next couple days in that kind of like acute healing phase?
So I don't think that my pain really got too high, maybe 2 or 3. I did try to take some things ahead of time and do some things to prevent that pain if possible. But what I felt the most, I feel like, is the top of my tongue was sore when I was trying to like talk and then start to eat, which I thought was weird. I guess I didn't realize or didn't expect that part of it. And then really how much time it took after you're doing the exercises to start getting the tongue to like go back, right? Like to this side or this side, and how much that pulled and was probably sore, even a week, 2 weeks afterwards, trying to get your tongue to go back on the sides. I feel like the regular stretches up, down, and outside to side weren't bad, but when they started trying to go back, which then made me not want to eat or chew anything, because then I couldn't clean my teeth out or, clear that stuff in the back or in my cheeks. So the eating part was interesting for about a week, trying to eat things that I really didn't have to chew so much.
Yeah, I agree that getting the tongue to the back, to the molars, was not, it was uncomfortable. Like
Yes.
it wasn't painful, but it was like, ouch, like it was like a soreness
Right.
is what I experienced.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. So then, how it's 24 hours, no exercises, just let things be. And then you start volitional exercises after the 24 hours, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And then after, how many days was that? Like,
3 to 4 days, you start the neuromuscular, the brushing, tapping, those kind of things.
yes, exactly. And so how did those things go? Because you had said before that your strength, like your tongue strength was not an issue, like,
Right.
or the movement of your tongue.
Right. Yeah. So I really didn't have any trouble with any of those. Really, the only one that really seemed to give me any kind of discomfort or trouble was just that, going back to the molars or whatever. But the rest of them, um, even the massage, didn't bother me so much. So yeah, so I can't really, say that that the tongue tie improved any of that. I can say that it did help some, like, of the compensation. So I had a lot of compensation of the floor of my mouth rising. So I could definitely tell that has changed. But yeah, I didn't really have any trouble doing the actual exercises.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting for me that I didn't realize how little the tongue was able to achieve the contact with the palate. So I kind of had in my mind, like, oh, I think I'm almost doing it. And then once it was released, it was like, holy crap, my tongue is really on the roof of my mouth now. I mean, it probably was like 40 to 50% before. And now it's like, oh, my whole entire tongue is up there.
Yeah. And I didn't really have that kind of a change.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. So we talked before that some of the things that you were looking at were like pain in your neck and shoulders that you're hoping to get some relief from. You had injections scheduled. There's a surgery that's coming up. So what kind of things, what kind of changes or things, more benefits that you've seen otherwise?
So just that day, even when I got up off the table, I could feel less stress and tension in my left shoulder and neck. And that has continued to be less. So that's been great. I did cancel my injections that I was supposed to have in my neck. I can't say that it was fully from this, but I think this and the patches that I had started kind of at the same time kind of had both worked. Surgery is still scheduled for June, but I'm kind of on the fence for that too. I'm kind of waiting to see how much more improvement I can get here in the next till the end of May and then decide if I'm going forward with that or not.
And what was the surgery again? I'm sorry.
Rotator cuff for my right.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, were there any changes in your sleep patterns, in eating? Like, were you having any difficulties that you noticed anything there?
I wasn't, not that I knew of.
Oh,
And I
good.
don't know that I've noticed any difference due to the tongue.
So, what have you been able to like tell or communicate to your patients or their family members? Like, this was a really big learning experience for you to be able to, have a connection with them and be able to communicate things. So, what were some of the things that you feel like you absolutely gained from this experience to be able to pass on to others?
I think the biggest thing is that don't just take one opinion when somebody tells you if you have a tongue tie or if you don't. I had what I would consider a professional who was very versed in ties tell me that I didn't, and then I just kept thinking, I'm like, all of these symptoms, and then having the doctor check it. He's like, well, yeah, it's not necessarily like somebody else's, obviously. He's like, but it's definitely tight and more posterior. So I tell them that even if you can't see it per se, I said, think about what you're feeling, right? And what other things might be happening. And then I tell them, I'm like, I had all the range of motion. I could do all the exercises because I'm teaching other people to do this, right? On a daily basis. I could do all of that. But there was some compensation. So you have to look just past kind of just what you see on the outside. And like, don't be afraid to ask questions and seek other professionals to get those second and third and fourth opinions, I guess, if you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that that's what we see. That's what I see in some of these Facebook groups and just and parents in general. Like they've seen so many people have said it's not an issue, and maybe it isn't an issue, but sometimes that mom gut is telling you this is the problem here,
Right.
And so it's really important to follow that mom gut.
Yeah. And I mean, if I would have done this when I was younger, I may have not had to have other surgeries and other things that I've gone through. It's hard to know, but just kind of thinking back, it's like, yeah, maybe wouldn't have had to do some of these other things if this one thing would have been noticed or taken care of.
Yeah, for sure. It's really fascinating to me. It's really like the whole thing. I'm so happy with my experience. I'm very thankful that I went through with it. And yeah, I mean it's really crazy. Lynn, is there anything else that you'd like people to know about either tongue tie releases, your business, your practice, anything before we sign off?
Just if you think that you want to do it, no matter what your age, do it. Because here I am at going on 50 and finally did it and have no regrets at all. But find good providers, find good therapists. And yeah, if somebody wants to reach out to me, ask questions, I'd be glad to answer those. If I'm not your right provider, then we'll find somebody.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point, is like, you should not just go and get your tongue tie released. Like it is a process. You need to be seen by someone, a speech therapist or speech language pathologist ideally, but someone who's well versed in myofunctional therapy to be able to have the right set up the exercises beforehand so that your tongue knows what to do afterward. Because if you release your tongue and your tongue doesn't know what to do, there are risks to that. So to just go to a doctor, a dentist, or a tongue tie release provider and just to have it done, that's not going to be good. Like, the outcome is not going to be good. Like, you have to go through the right channels in order for it to have a positive outcome. And that point of having a really good provider, release provider as well, is super important. There's a lot of people out there that say that they can do it and they are doing it, but the outcomes are not that great. So it's really important to do your due diligence to know what you need to do prep before and after, and having the right involved providers. And the release provider is well versed and has done this a lot and has positive outcomes as well.
Yes. And I tell all of my clients, I'm like, you don't have to go to who I refer you to or recommend, but I definitely would make sure that whoever you do go to requires myofunctional therapy prior to and post. And if they don't, then that's a red flag that maybe that's probably not the person you should go.
Yeah, that's a really great point. Well, Lynn, I've had so much fun talking to you before and now. And yeah, I'm very thankful for your time that you've spent doing this with me. I hope that others benefit from your message and your story. And again, like I said before, it's a miracle that we're here. It's a miracle that we had our tongue ties released and that we had such a positive experience as well. So I'm so thankful.
Me too. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for listening to Miracle in Time. If you would like to explore a theme or know someone perfect for this podcast, please fill out a form on yourlightllc.com/podcast. If you would like to learn more about my services, you can visit the website at yourlightllc.com. I want you to remember that with all life's ups and downs, you are divinely held and guided throughout your journey. Don't miss out on this miracle in time.